Hello everyone, welcome back to Longswitch Academy. You are watching our course Salesforce Flows for Beginners. This is your host Shubham Prajapati and I welcome you to the channel. I hope you are following along this series and taking valuable notes and just embarking on your Salesforce Flows learning journey. In this episode, we are going to talk about Salesforce record triggered flows, and during the entire video we'll talk about the what are like record triggered flows, when to use them, and we will also showcase to you the steps to create your first record triggered flow in Salesforce. So stay tuned. This video is going to be very excited and very insightful for you. So stay tuned till the very end. Let's start this episode by learning what are record triggered flows and key points about it. For the sake of easiness, I have created some bullet points to highlight the keynotes about the record triggered flows. Do watch this episode till end, because by the end of this video or this episode, you will be able to automate certain actions based on the record changes in your Salesforce org. So it is really going to be very helpful for you when you start learning your Salesforce flows. So let's begin by understanding the record trigger flows. Record trigger flows are triggered based on the changes that are made in the records. And when I say changes, I mean whenever we update, insert or delete any of the record, in order to take care of those actions, we can configure the record triggered flows. As the definition suggests, record triggered flows are triggered by changes to the Salesforce records. They can run before or after a record is created, modified, or like updated or deleted, for automating some certain actions for specific situations. So it is nothing but the alternative of Apex triggers that the developer uses, but it has its own limitations, its own specific requirements in which only we should be configuring record triggered flows. So I hope you have understood the basic overview of record triggered flows, and now let's move on to creating one sample record triggered flow for the sample purpose, so that you understand and you can see this in action. So for the demo purpose, I have tried highlighting one business use case for which we can configure a record triggered flow. So the business use case goes like this. We will configure a flow to run whenever an opportunity record is created or updated, and when the opportunity amount is greater than $10,000, then we need to update the opportunity stage to closed won. So this is just a simple use case, and this kind of use cases are very much common in the business. So let's try building a flow for it. So first what I'll do, I'll go to my org. As you might have seen in the previous episodes of this course, we are developing our flows into one of our developer org, and I hope you have the same for yourself. If you haven't subscribed for or signed up for a Salesforce developer org, do get one for yourself before you move forward with this video. So, and I expect that you follow along with this tutorial to create your flows along with me. Meanwhile, if you have any suggestions, any thoughts or anything for me, do let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to exchange words with you. I'll be happy to exchange ideas or thoughts with you. Now, as you know, in order to create the flow, we will need to go to the setup. It is loading. So from the setup, I need to look for flows. This will bring our the home screen or home page for the flows, where we will have all our flows listed. Then I'll click on this new flow, and this will bring our Salesforce flow builder. From here we need to choose whether we want to create it from scratch or using a template. Let's create it from scratch. Hit next. Now on the next screen you need to choose the type of your flow. Since we are planning to create a record triggered flow, we will choose record triggered flow from this template or from this type selection. You can choose your specific flows based on your use case. So for now, as I'm trying to create a record triggered flow, I will choose this and I hit this create button. Okay, this, whenever you try to create a record trigger flow, this is a similar screen that you will get that asks you about configuring your object for which you want to configure this record triggered flow. Since as per our use case suggests, we are trying to create an automation after an opportunity record is created or updated. So here in the object we will choose object, opportunity as the object. Likewise, whatever your object is and on which you want to configure the flow, choose your appropriate object. You can choose both. You can choose either standard or custom objects based on your use cases. So I'll choose opportunity. And what is my use case? From when we want to trigger this flow, here I will configure the flow to run when an opportunity is created or updated. So we want to handle the after insert and after update event. So I'll go back to my org here whenever a record is created or updated. And now they ask whether you want to specify any entry condition for filtering your records, like are there any specific records for which you want to run your flow. For my use case or for my example, I want to run this trigger for all the opportunities that gets updated or created in the system. So I will keep this as none. But in case you have certain conditions that you want to run your record triggered flow for any particular record or any set of record that meet specific conditions, then you can use this entry conditions section. So I'll keep it as none. Now the next part is whether you want to update certain fields, the high performance tolerance before the record is set. Yes, this is crucial. This is the point which makes you decide whether you want your record triggered flow to run before any action is happened, before any action is taken on your record or after action is taken. For example, like if you wish to configure your flows before insert or update or after insert and update happens. So this is the place, or this is the option that will make you decide on like before or after nature of your record triggered flow. Since our business use case, what we want to do, configure the flow to run when an opportunity is created or updated and when the opportunity amount is greater than. So basically it is an after after insert and update flow that we need to configure. I'll go here and I would choose this action and related records. Update any record and perform action like send an email. This more flexible after the record is saved to the database. Yes, I just want to update the stage of the opportunity after the amount gets saved. So I'll choose this, and once I'm done with it, I'll hit save. And on the next as a next item, it will ask me to give the name. If you are following along this series, I'm emphasizing on giving proper names to your Salesforce flows and your Salesforce flow elements. So here we will give it a name like opportunity trigger. See, why You must be wondering why I'm giving it name like opportunity record triggered flow for after events. Rather, I should be naming it something like opportunity stage update on amount change, or after certain amount criteria is specified. Why am I not naming it like that? The reason is, for every object you should try limiting just one flow for specific kind of what I say events. For example, I might have certain automations that I need to perform on opportunity after insert or after update events. So for each of those automations, I should not be writing one flow for one event or one automation. Instead, I should only be creating one Salesforce flow and using different decisions to execute a particular set of automation. Therefore, I'm giving it a more generic name to my flow, so that it identifies to other users as well that this is the flow that will execute after the insert or update is happen after the insert or update happen on the opportunity record, and it will take care of all the different set of automations that we have in place. Therefore, you should also try to give more generic names to your flows and try to limit your like one flow for one object for a specific set of events. So let's give it a name like this, and I'll hit save. Okay, so my flow got saved. I have configured the entry criteria. I have configured my object. Now let's do something. What is our business use case here? Our business use case here is to update the stage of the opportunity to closed won when the amount is greater than 10,000. So first we need to check whether the opportunity record that triggered the flow has the amount greater than 10,000 or not. For that, we will use a decision element. Let's go back to our flow builder, and as we want to filter out based on the amount on the opportunity to update our stage field. So what I'll do, I'll go here and I try to add a decision element, because I want to decide that whether the current opportunity record which triggered this flow has the amount greater than 10,000 or not. So therefore I will use a decision element. And if you are following along with this series, we should use the camel case naming conventions for the API names, and we should also give meaningful labels to our elements. So I'll keep the name like decision, because I will keep the label like decision for amount greater than 10k. K is for 1000. And if you can see, this is a more meaningful or more descriptive label, which easily highlights to the users that okay, this is the decision which checks for the amount greater than 10,000 for the opportunity. In order to be more elaborative, you can also add the word opportunity amount. So always try to have meaningful names for your elements so that it conveys the meaning and its purpose. And if you are following along, we should be changing the API labels or API names to camel case by using the pattern like this. Do follow the previous episodes to know more about this camel casing. So this is the camel case, where the first word has the first letter as smaller case and rest of the subsequent words will have their first letter as capital. So this is my it. Now every decision will have some outcome. It is like a flow chart. Like there will be one positive outcome, one will be default or the negative outcome. So which decision we want to make as part of this flow? Here we want to decide if the amount is greater than 10,000 or not. So I'll make a decision like is amount greater than 10k and question mark. So again here I'll change the API naming convention. Now whenever anyone sees our flow other than ourselves, he will identify that okay, first we are checking, making a decision for opportunity amount greater than 10k, and first decision is whether it is actually greater than 10k or it is not greater than 10k. Depending on different results of the or outcomes of the decision, we will take appropriate actions. Now from where to check, how to identify the current opportunity record that triggered this flow. For that we need to use a global variable called record. You see, triggering opportunity, which is the record that triggered this flow. And as you might have understood in the very beginning of this episode, that record triggered flows are only triggered when we update, insert or delete any of the record in Salesforce. So therefore the record which will trigger this flow will be stored, or the reference of that record will be stored in this record resource, which will have all the fields from the specified object. Now record dot, we are interested in the amount, so we will search for the amount. So this is how you can refer to the current record which triggered the flow and what was its different field values. And what we want to check here, I'll move it here a bit. I don't know why it is not operating. Let me move it here for now. And I want to check if the amount is greater than 10,000 or not. So what I'll do, I'll check for greater than, and what is the amount? 10,000. This is how you can use the decision element to make certain decisions, and you can configure the different outcomes. If you wish, you can also add multiple outcomes to your decision. But for now, since we just want to check one condition, like if the amount is greater than 10k, then only we want to update this stage. Otherwise we don't have to do anything. Now once you are done with your decision element, hit save, close it down, and your changes are saved here. Likewise, the important thing is now what to do after you define your decisions, because you just want to perform some actions based on the particular outcome. Now our desired behavior is we want to update the stage field on the opportunity when the amount is greater than 10k. So this is our outcome from where we will be just updating this field. So for that we will use an assignment element. You wonder why do we need to use assignment element? Because we want to assign a particular value. And what is that value? The stage to closed one. The value is closed one. We want to assign a value to our record fields, therefore we will use the assignment element. So choose it from here. Again, give it a proper name. So I will label it like assign closed one to opportunity stage. Again, I'll come here and rename the details. You wonder why I'm doing this every time, because this is the naming convention strategy that I'm using for my flows, and this is how we use at our company, that is Longswitch Software Solutions. So I'm just following this naming convention strategy. But if you are working somewhere, or you are working independently and you have adapted to some other naming conventions, use that, but ideally follow the same naming convention strategy, refer the official documentation about it, and maintain a streamlined development approach while you develop the flows. So now here in the variable we have to assign something, but since we want to update the current record which triggered this flow, so again we will use a record element here, and what we want to update, the stage stage field. So from here choose the stage, and what you want to assign it to, closed one. The interesting part here is Salesforce flows makes it very easy for you to work with the records or work with the fields across different what I say objects. As you can see, I have selected the field from current record, which is the type, which is of type opportunity. Then I selected stage field, which is a pick list, which means that it will have certain options. So here it is automatically giving you those options, so you don't have to recall and you don't have to revisit to the object definition, then go to the field list, find a field, get the option from there. This way it really enhances the efficiency. It really helps you to develop the flows with much more like quicker way. You can save a lot of time here, and even it will also help you prevent some errors due to some data copying and pasting for that kind of thing. So do let me know if you knew about it, and are you excited on just embarking on this Salesforce flows learning journey. Here I wanted to use closed one. This is the only field that I wanted to apply or I wanted to update, so I'll keep this just one way limited to one variable update only. And now I'm done. I'll hit save. The trigger got saved. Now what? Now I want to commit this information or save this information in the database. So for that, what I will use a data element. In the previous video, when I walk you through the Salesforce flow builder, I have talked about all the different elements that Salesforce provides and how it categorizes them into different categories to for easy bifurcation among them. Likewise, I want to update my data, so I will use update records element. Now again, we need to provide a meaningful label. Update current opportunity record. Here, how to find the records to update their values. This is important thing. And again, first, before I go there, let me rename the API names to match my naming convention strategy. There are 4 options that it provides. Use the opportunity record that triggered the flow, which means it will automatically give you like access to the record that triggered this flow, or maybe update records related to the opportunity record that triggered the flow. I mean to say, with this it means that whether do you actually want to update the related data or related lists from the current record, or you have your own record collection on which you want to perform an update, or maybe they ask you to query the data from different objects based on when you select the object like here and define the conditions. So with this 4th option, specify conditions to identify records and set in, fields individually, it is nothing but it is asking you to run a query on your own by configuring the objects and conditions and then perform the update. So there are basically 4 ways in which you can configure the records to update. I'll quickly go through them one by one. First is like the record itself that triggered the flow. Second are the related list for the current record. Third is the custom record collection that you have in your flow and you want to just update. Or fourth, you just independently query a different object based on different conditions from Salesforce and then try to perform an update. So it is up to you which option you choose based on your business use cases and like your flow requirements. So it is up to you. For now, since we just want to update the opportunity record that triggered this flow, we will use the first option. In case you have any doubts, questions, or there is some confusion, or if I missed something to cover, do let me know in the comment section below. I'll definitely try to get back to you as soon as I can. I hope this tutorial is making sense to you and we are adding value to your wealth of knowledge. Here, okay, so one thing that I missed here, that when we choose the use the opportunity record that triggered the flow, then we have to set the fields here separately, like which field we want to update. Since I had to demonstrate the assignment element to you as part of this sample or demo, I used the assignment element, so this won't work for me. Otherwise we will have to duplicate the assignment thing, because we have already assigned the value to the record using the assignment element, and again we have to do it here. So for that, what we will use, we'll use the second option, update records related to the opportunity, and I mean to say we need to use this third option, that is use the IDs and all the values from the record collection. So I meant that instead of the first option, we should be going with the third option, because we already have the current record collection. We'll use this and we will hit save. I hope you are following along and our changes are saved. An important tip here, whenever you use any data element, always configure a fault path. You wonder what is a fault path? What does it mean? It means that when you try to attempt to like insert, update or delete any of the record from the database, it might happen that some errors occur and it prevent the data from being modified in the database. At that point of time, this flow path will be executed, and you can leverage this this element to showcase the error messages to your users. So once you are at your fault path, click on this add element and try to look for custom error. And as you can see the tooltip, create a custom error message to show on a record page or specific field on the page. This this custom error element allows you to like notify the users about the error, like which occurs while you try to update certain records as part of your record triggered flow. And these error messages can either be displayed at the record level or at the particular field level. Let's try using it, and I'll label it at custom error component to handle data errors. Always use descriptive messages or descriptive labels for your elements. And here you can configure like where you want to display the error messages, in a window on a record page or as an inline error on a field. If you have worked with Salesforce and you might have hit with the errors, there are two places that where Salesforce displays the error. Sometimes it shows error at a particular field level that has the error, or it displays at the entire page level. So for now, let's try to configure it for the on a record page level or something. Or maybe let's configure it for the field, because we are trying to update a stage field. So let's keep it limited to the field. And which field it is? Stage. These fields will be listed based on the object that you have configured at the starting of your record triggered flow. So just take a note of it. And now error message. Either you can specify your own custom error message or the actual error message that occurs as part of your DML operation. So in order to receive the error message, the actual error message that Salesforce flow throw, for that you can use a global variable called flows, and then you can use the fault message. Once you are done, hit save. So this completes our configuration of the first record triggered flow that we created in this in the Salesforce Flow Builder. Here you can see that like we did couple of things. Let's go through them one by one. First, in the start element, we defined the object for which we want to like configure this record triggered flow. Then we defined the action on which this flow will be triggered, and we also configured the direction of this flow, whether it will be before or after. Second thing, if there was a like a decision, we took that. But yes, in our business use case, there was a decision, so we took that business decision here, and depending on the outcome of the decision, we configured the set of actions. And like here we are performing the assignment and then the update, and along with that we are also tackling care of the negative scenarios such as any faults or any errors. For that we have configured the fault path. So this completes our first ever Salesforce record triggered flow in Salesforce. I hope you have followed along. In the now let's test it out and see if it works or not. What I'll do, I'll debug it here just to see how it works. I want to maybe let's activate it first, and I have activated it, which means now if I go and create or modify any of the opportunities in my Salesforce org, I should be I should be having this automation in place. So I go here, I'll create a new opportunity for myself just for testing it out. Longswitch. Okay. You can give it any name. I'll configure the close date to be 20th of this month, and I'm just, since this stage field is a required one, I'm configuring it to be prospecting. But if the amount is greater than 10,000, then it should automatically be updated to closed won. And where do we specify the amount? I'll specify the amount here. It is 11,000, which is greater than the 10,000. Let's try hitting save. Okay, it got created, and you see it automatically got promoted to or got shifted to closed won. Here you go. But remember, initially I had set it to prospecting, but since the automation is there in place, it got automatically moved to the closed won. So this is how the record trigger flows helps you achieve automation based on the record changes. Let's try one more example. Another I will create 10K or less. I'll specify 9,000 as the amount, and I'll use qualification as the stage. I'll try hitting save. Okay, the close date is required one. I'll keep 27. I'll hit save. This also got created, but you see now this stage is similar to what I have highlighted, which is qualification. This time the automation didn't run because our current opportunity doesn't have the amount that was required to move its stage to closed won. So you can likewise you can also test it out, like you can test it out you can test out your record triggered flows in the org and see yourself whether it is covering all the possible situations or scenarios. Now let's go back to the flow and try seeing this error or fault path in action. Now let's test one negative use case to understand how this fault path works. So in order to do that, I'll try to provide the invalid value to this stage field. I'll keep it as closed won 1. Try to save it, activate a new version. I just want to demonstrate what how important it is to configure the like fold path when you deal with the data within your flows, so that the error message also is easily conveyed to your end users. I have activated it, and I'll go back to my org. I try to, what I say, change something in here. I hit save. Now you see I got this error message, and here also I'm getting this message. So this way you get, what I say, appropriate like error messages from the flows. This is the raw message that flows returns. That's why you are that's why you are getting the detailed, very long message here. But in the flows, there are techniques that you can use to like filter out the unnecessary part and just display the appropriate error message to your users. But the key concept here is that it is very important to have a fault path for your flows, so that in case anything goes wrong, your users are like quickly notified about it, and so that they know, and then they can reach out to your admin team for the assistance. So eventually it also helps in troubleshooting for your administrators. So I hope you have found this session or this episode very helpful. With this, we conclude our episode on learning Salesforce record triggered flows, and I hope that this is really going to add value to your wealth of knowledge. Until next time, keep watching, keep learning and growing with Longswitch Academy. Thank you for your support. Until next time, bye, take care.